Hello, I'm Courtney, and today I'm doing the final installment of the favorite videos of 2018, and today I'm going to be discussing my favorite books of this year. Before I begin, let me just say that I really thought that I wasn't going to make a favorite books of 2018 video because, let's be real here, I was in a reading slump this whole entire year. But somehow I managed to read enough books to compile a list of favorite books of the year. And you know I'm all about doing top 10, and I did that. I have 10 books to share with you all, and I'm so excited. I love all these books dearly, and they all have a special place in my heart. So honestly, coming up with this list was really hard for me, but I managed to come up with it. And they're all ready, and I'm really excited to talk about my favorites with you all, so let's get started. Coming in at number 10 is Secrets for the Mad by Dodie Clark. Now, if you don't know who Dodie is, she is a British YouTuber who does music as well as talks about mental health and the LGBTQ+ community, and I started watching her videos last year and I immediately fell in love with her. And when I found out that she had a book, I was like, well, I gotta read that. This is kind of like an autobiography in a sense. It talks about her life, her music, her realizing that she was bi, just a lot of life lessons that she's gone through, and it was really interesting to read about them and just learn more about her. And there were some things I could relate to, but also some things I couldn't relate to because she is older than me. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a huge Dodie fan like me. Next at number 9 is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This is a novella to the ACOTAR series. This came out in May, and it took me like a day to read because, as you can tell, this is super short, but it takes place after ACOWAR and it's set during the winter solstice and everyone's celebrating, and it's just really cute and a bunch of fluff. I really liked A Court of Frost and Starlight. I know a lot of people didn't or found this to be unnecessary, and even though I kind of do think that this novella is unnecessary, I still enjoyed it. It's just pure fluff and it's super short, so like I'm glad it exists, and I have a whole review on it if you want to go check that out. Next at number 8 is A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. I read this back in November, so it's still pretty fresh on my mind, and I adored this book. This is Tahereh's first standalone novel, and this book is just so powerful, and I never wanted to put it down because I was just so intrigued with the story and the characters. I think everyone should read this because I think the message behind it is just so good, and everyone needs to read it because it's just so good. It's just so good. Next at number 7 is The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. This is the sequel to The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which was one of my favorite books of last year, and I adored this book. But the sequel, this is so much better. The reason why I think this sequel is better than his first book is just because it was so much more relatable to me as a girl to read from Felicity Montague, the main character. She's just so relatable, and I love her to death, and I just loved the adventure so much more. Like, there's pirates and magic and all these crazy things, and it was just so exciting, and I loved every second of it. Coming in at number 6 is Restore Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is the 4th book in the Shatter Me series, and this was definitely the most mind-blowing Shatter Me book. Like, all the books are mind-blowing, but this one had me shook, and I literally could not put this down because I just had to know all the answers. I have a review on this as well if you want to check that out, but overall, Restore Me is great. Even though it killed me with so many feels, it's fine, I survived. Next at number 5 is A Reaper at the Gates by Sahaba Tahir. This is the 3rd book in the An Amber in the Ashes series, and these books just keep getting more insane, and I keep dying more and more because of all of the crazy and shocking revelations, and this one was definitely by far the most insane. But even though it was super crazy, I still highly enjoyed it, especially my homegirl Helene right here. She's my favorite, and I adored her so much in this book, and just everything about it was so good. Coming in at number 4 is The Bernie Maze by Rick Riordan. You know I always have to include a Rick Riordan book on my favorite books list every year because the list just wouldn't be the same without a Rick Riordan book. But this is the 3rd book in the Trials of Apollo series, and this is by far my favorite one because I just thought that the story was just so interesting and intriguing, and I was really hooked on to what was going on throughout this whole entire book. But this was also the most heartbreaking one because some really depressing things happened, but it's fine. I've moved on. I'm okay, but I still overall love this book, and I do have a review on it if you want to check it out. Now we're coming down to the top 3, and number 3 is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the sequel to Caraval, which was another favorite of mine from last year, and like with The Lady's Guide to Petticoats of Piracy, I thought Legendary was so much better. You know, Caraval was full of twists and surprises, and I was mind blown by the end, but somehow Legendary was even more shocking, and I just loved every second of all the twists and the romance, the drama. Like, everything about this book was fantastic, and I can't wait for the final book that's coming out next year, which is literally called Finale, which I think is so amazing. Next at number 2 is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is the final book in the Throne of Glass series, and I know a lot of you are probably surprised that this isn't number 1, but even though I love this book, I still have issues with it, like me wanting more Cowbell and Yrene. No, but seriously, Kingdom of Ash was a great book overall. I do have a review on it, just so you're aware, and I overall really enjoyed it, and this was a great wrap-up to the Throne of Glass series, which is one of my favorite series, and even though I'm really sad that it's over, I'm so happy with how Kingdom of Ash turned out. And now we are at number 1, my favorite book of 2018, and honestly, I don't think any of you are gonna see this one coming. My favorite book of 2018 is, drumroll please, Every Last Word by Tamaria Ireland Stone. So I read this book this past summer, and this book really changed my life because of the main character, Samantha, because she was just so real to me, and it's so hard for me to find characters that I could relate to, but when I read this, I just immediately understood what Samantha was going through and how she felt, and I was like, oh my god, like, this is insane. I felt so much pain and joy and just all of these emotions while reading Every Last Word, and I loved every second of it because I hadn't read a book this real to me in a really long time, and I'm so grateful that I discovered this story because it really did impact my life, and I think everyone should read this because I think the message behind it and the characters are just so important, and it's so good. But that, my friends, were my favorite books of 2018. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and please let me know in the comments down below what were your favorite books of the year, were some of your favorite books in this list of mine. Just let's talk about books in the comments, okay? Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'm Courtney. I'll see you all next time with a new video soon, so I will see you then. So bye!